Hi everybody, and thank you for viewing this video. My name is Isabelle, and today what I'd like to go through is the idea and concept of freedom. Now, a few days ago I was driving against the traffic and I was looking at the opposite side of the road and looking at all those cars heading towards the city to go to work at something like 7:30 in the morning. Anyway, so as I was driving along, I noticed how they were going really slowly and it seemed like they were almost chained together, these people. You know, they were all heading in the same direction really slowly and really automatically, like robots. It kind of resembled to me a sense of slavery. If you contrast that to ancient slavery, and if you look at, how the slaves were tied together with rope or with chains and were whipped by Romans and things like that, you kind of realize that our modern day society isn't too far off from that. Although we don't get the direct abuse, obviously we don't get the whipping and things like that, we do, in a sense, we kind of think that we do have freedom in the sense that we can, switch on our iPod or, put on the music in our radio or listen to the breakfast show or something like that. In that aspect, we believe that we actually have a sense of freedom, and that we're in like modern day vehicles and things like that. We're kind of in the same way chained together and heading towards the same direction, because we have work to do. Now, if we decide not to take that path, then we won't have money. And if we don't have money, we won't be able to survive in this society. We won't be able to buy food. We won't be able to do this and that. We won't have the luxury of life. So it's not really an option to quit work and just sit there and, get payment from the government or something, because that's not very, it's not a very efficient way of living. Now, my point is that if you kind of take a distance from this, if you kind of step backwards and you have a look at why we work in the first place, very few people can come up with very good reasons why we actually work. I mean, what is this human obsession with keeping busy all the time, or with kind of like doing something? What is this human obsession with not being able to just live a life in sort of nature, not having to build all of this stuff? Because if we didn't have to build all of these hotels, all of these roads, all of these cars, all of these things, then we wouldn't have to work in the first place. And why is it that we need to do that kind of stuff? Why is it that we actually need, to keep on getting better and better, keep on improving technology, keep on doing this and that? What's the point? I mean, what is the point? You're only here for about 100 years, if you're lucky. You're only here for a limited time period. And unfortunately, the moment you're born into this society, you're sort of brainwashed in order to, you need to take the following steps. You need to, first you get born, then you go to kindergarten, then you go to school, you spend 12 years at school, then you go to hopefully university, then you go to work. By then you're brainwashed. By then you're integrated into the society. You're doing exactly what the society expects you to do, to live as a citizen of the society and to be a slave to the workforce, to devote your entire life, to devote your entire time, your time away from your family, so that you can be out there to help people construct bigger and bigger buildings, bigger and bigger bridges, and better technology. But why? What for? I mean, what is there to really achieve? There's nothing to really achieve out there. It's actually, work in a sense is diminishing our living conditions. It's diminishing people's ability to spend time with their families, which is what is more important. It's diminishing the quality of relationships. If you look at the divorce rate, most of that is because there's money issues, or there's problems with, couples not spending enough time together, etc. It's not directly due to the fact that human beings are bad. It's due to the fact that this society expects us to sacrifice our entire lives from age 0, maybe age 3, up to age 65 to do stuff for the society. I mean, if you think about it, whoever really wants to do that? Isn't there more to this life than just to work and just to travel in the morning to, to and fro with the traffic? I mean, there has to be something more. There has to be greater meaning, because person gets up to 65 and then they realize, what was that for? Like after 65 years, they realize that was a waste of time. And now I have my freedom, but now I don't know what to do with it because I need to be busy in order to, have a normal functioning mind. They lose a sense of self because they're so consumed with, traveling to work or working for a particular company. They get so obsessed about, following the exact criteria that, people around them are following, to first, go to school, then go to work. It's kind of like sheep. Blind sheep. One sheep's going that way, the other one's following because they don't know what they're doing. So they're just using that as a model. But you really need to question whether all of this is actually worth it, whether it's actually worth your entire life to sacrifice to a particular company or to particular work, to a particular work type.